Monero value equivalent to 2,463.83 rands a coin. The present cost range, 2,437.61, 2,587.91. The earlier day close, 2,467.58. The change was 375 to 15%. Reverse rate, ZAR to XMR. Monero cost expectation for August 2024. Before all else cost at 1,774 rands. Excessive cost 1916, while low cost 1,666. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 1,787. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 1,791. Change for August 10%. Monero figure for September 2024. Before all else cost at 1,791 rands. Excessive cost 1,823, while low cost 1,585. The arrived at the midpoint of cost 1,726. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 1,704. Change for September 49%. Monero cost expectation for October 2024. In the first place, cost at 1,704 rands. Exorbitant cost 1,814, while low cost 1,576. The found the middle value of cost 1,697. Monero cost gauge toward the month's end 1,695. Change for October's on 5%. Monero gauge for November 2024. In the first place, cost at 1,695 rands. Exorbitant cost 2,100, while low cost 1,695. The found the middle value of cost 1,863. Monero cost gauge toward the month's end 1963. Change for November 15.8%. Monero cost expectation for December 2024. Initially cost at 1963 rands. Excessive cost 2,157, while low cost 1,875. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 2003. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 2016. Change for December 7%. Monero figure for January 2025. Initially cost at 2016 rands. Excessive cost 2028, while low cost 1,762. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1925. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 1,895. Change for January 6%. Monero cost expectation for February 2025. Initially cost at 1,895 rands. Exorbitant cost 1,895, while low cost 1,604. They found the middle value of cost 1,780. Monero cost estimate toward the month's end 1,725. Change for February 9%. Monero estimate for walk 2025. First and foremost cost at 1,725 rands. Exorbitant cost 2030, while low cost 1,725. They found the middle value of cost 1,844. Monero cost estimate toward the month's end 1,897. Change for spring 10%. Monero cost expectation for April 2025. At the outset cost at 1,897 rands. Excessive cost 2047, while low cost 1,779. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 99. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 1913. Change for April's 8%. Monero figure for May 2025. In the first place, cost at 1913 rands. Exorbitant cost 2079, while low cost 1,807. They found the middle value of cost 1936. Monero cost gauge toward the month's end 1943. Change for May 6%. Monero cost expectation for June 2025. Before all else cost at 1943 rands. Excessive cost 2,107, while low cost 1,831. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1963. Monero cost conjecture toward the month's end 1969. Change for June 13%. Monero estimate for July 2025. First and foremost cost at 1969 rands. Exorbitant cost 1969, while low cost 1,634. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1,832. Monero cost conjecture toward the month's end 1,757. Change for July 10.8%. Monero cost expectation for August 2025. Before all else cost at 1,757 rands. Excessive cost 2,981, while low cost 1,757. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1933. Monero cost conjecture toward the month's end 2038. Change for August 16%. Monero conjecture for September 2025. before all else cost at 2038 rands. Excessive cost 2213, while low cost 1923. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 2261. Monero cost conjecture toward the month's end 2268. Change for September 15%. Monero cost expectation for October 2025. At the outset cost at 2068 rands. Excessive cost 2068, while low cost 1721. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1927. Monero cost conjecture toward the month's end 1850. Change for October 10.5%. Monero conjecture for November 2025. At the outset cost at 1850 rands. Excessive cost 2033, while low cost 1767. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1888. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 19. Change for November 27%. Monero cost expectation for December 2025. Initially cost at 19 rands. Excessive cost 20.29, while low cost 1851. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1968. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 1990. Change for December 4.7%. Monero conjecture for January 2026. At the outset cost at 1990 rands. Excessive cost 2116, while low cost 1840. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 1981. Monero cost conjecture toward the month's end 1978. Change for January 6%. Monero cost expectation for February 2026. Initially cost at 1978 rands. Excessive cost 24.55, while low cost 1978. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 21.76. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 22.94. Change for February 16%. Monero figure for Warp 2026. Initially cost at 22.94 rands. Excessive cost 24.94, while low cost 21.68. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 23.22. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 2331. Change for spring 16%. Monero cost expectation for April 2026. Before all else cost at 2331 rands. Excessive cost 2331, while low cost 1980. They arrived at the midpoint of cost 2093. Monero cost figure toward the month's end 2129. Change for April 87%. Monero figure for May 2026. Initially cost at 2129 rands. Exorbitant cost 24.83, while low cost 21.29. They found the middle value of cost 2266. Monero cost estimate toward the month's end 23 to 21.